Welcome back to another episode of the Leadership Void podcast. I'm Enrique and Vince, my co host. Today we're going up north again to Washington. Hey, I'm loving this travel stuff. There's no jet lag, but today we have a great guest. Vince, introduce.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Welcome, everyone. We are here with Michelle Gardner-Ince, aka GI. She is the director of the Women's Veterans Owned Small Business Initiative of the Office of Small Business from Washington, D.C., Baltimore area. Welcome, Michelle, to the show. Please start off and tell us a little bit about you.
Well, what a delight it is to be with you, gentlemen. Leadership is something that I've been passionate about ever since I read John Maxwell's book. In fact, oh my God, I'm dating myself. 2001, I've been a student and now a coach. I'm GI, God inspired. I always say it's a noun, it's a verb, it's an adjective. And if you worked for me in the military, it might have even been a cuss word. But 31 years ago, I married into this brand. I was at a fighter pilot base, and I came back from my honeymoon. The guy said, "We're not calling you Gardner-Ince. That's way too much. We're calling you GI." And from that point, it became my first and last name and a brand. But I'm a military brat, a military spouse, veteran, and I've never been without an ID card, and I'm consider myself to be an entrepreneur, intrapreneur, and a trailblazer, and a history maker who all seeks to serve women, veterans, and the military community.
And we love the background in the military because we both come from the military. Vince is Air Force, I'm Navy, and we make a great collaboration. And now we're adding you. So thank you for all that you're doing for women veteran owned small businesses. Now tell us a little bit about this initiative that you're on.
Sure. Well, first of all, this isn't a job. This is a mission. It is a ministry. I was, after spending 27 years in the military, having been successful, the first, black female to make rank in my particular Air Force specialty, make the rank of colonel. I exited the military after having been in charge of $1 billion portfolio, 7,000 people, 87 locations, award-winning military retail operation under my leadership. I failed at business. I was in business for 2 years. I didn't understand government business, and so when I came to the VA almost 10 years ago, there started my passion for veterans in business, and now, women veterans in enabling their success, because women veterans are this nation's yet to be realized national treasure. We are super dash market. Whenever you compare a woman veteran to a non-woman veteran, our skill set, our resources, our management, ability is clearly better. I'll put it that way. And so, this initiative is all about increasing representation and utilization of women in the federal and commercial marketplace.
Well, definitely. So, this initiative is a mission, and we want our listeners to know more. So, what is the Women's Veteran Owned Small Business Initiative currently doing, and how are you holding up with this current pandemic?
Well, it's been a challenge just like everybody else, but whenever there's a great challenge, that's one of the skill sets that any leader has in their rucksack is they pivot, they adjust. And so, when we started this initiative in 2019, we graduated, we brought 30 women together, businesses from 0 to 38 million, one employee to 200 plus, and we took them through a 6-month process of in person, right? Teaching them about VA, about government, how to pitch, how does government business work. and that was successful. But now we do everything virtual, and we're doing it in collaboration, because what I've realized is we don't know what it's like to be a business owner. I'm a government employee. What do I know about being a business owner? I can tell you how it is to sell to me, but I don't know what it's like to sell. And so my passion is to collaborate with government, nonprofit, educational entities who do understand the business owner and what they need from the other side of the table, and enable women veterans to do that. So we're finishing up on October 4th the PenFed Foundation Women Veteran GovCon boot camp, which is tremendous. 80 women started, and they had to do challenges along the way, and 5 women have made it to the final, and they're going to pitch and compete for almost $100,000 in grants. $25,000, three $25,000 grants, one $10,000 and one $5,000. And I told them, even if they don't win it, even if they only win $5,000, they are being coached by PenFed, who is a master in pitch coaching. I told him that learning that story, getting that succinct, that pitch deck will be worth millions. So, that's one of my passions, is about putting points on the board and putting money in the pocket of women, veteran business owners, because we can educate. That don't pay the bills. That doesn't create a system of wealth. And so for me, I want to win. And so I believe that winning happens through collaboration. So that's PenFed. That's the second program we've done. We also did the first ever Women Veteran Business Summit in March, where we brought 24 federal agencies, 11 primes together in collaboration with the U.S. Women's Chamber of Commerce. Again, you're getting a theme, collaboration. Then we just started last Monday with the SBA Women Business Centers in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. We're doing Vet Biz Lady Start. That's with start with the end in mind. So we have 60 women who are starting out, and we're going to take them through a 12-week process of how do you start, find your niche, find what agency, get your business model, all of that. So that's happening with the Women Business Centers, which fall under, SBA, but are run by different education and non-profit entities. And so I'm really excited about that. And the reason I'm excited about that is because I believe women business centers are the place for women veterans. Now, I'm not taking again anything away from the other resources, but women, how we learn in an all-female space is very different, and the whole vibe, the whole energy is different. So that's what we're doing, and we're always looking to do more collaborations, and we have a collaboration internal to VA. I'm working with some programs to develop engagements specifically around construction and IT.
What great initiative indeed is that. I'm listening to you and all the things, and I said, well, I might have to start throwing a dress on or something, because that sounds wonderful. To
It
have
is
that
amazing.
at your fingertips as a woman veteran, it is amazing. And so kudos to you guys for all creating all that space and all those opportunities. 100,000 up for grab for
Okay.
an idea. What a
Okay.
I love it. I love it. So what does the future look like for this initiative? Because I know that what you're doing right now is great, but I'm sure that what you're planning is out of this world.
Yeah, it is out of this world. I don't know what the next chapter for myself will be, so that's why I say it's out of this world, because there may be a transition in the future. But I believe this. It's almost, as I told somebody, as if God said, Michelle, I'm going to give you a head start. And I'm strong in my faith, and you know, whenever he tells me to do something, I do it right then. I don't ask how I'm going to do it, because what he has shown me is that on the other side of obedience are opportunities and blessings, right? So when we started the program in January, February of 2019, I didn't know that in January of 2021, one, we would have President Biden, right? Two, that he would release one of his first executive orders, 13985, which challenges every federal agency to increase opportunity and access for underserved communities. So how about we have a 2-year head start on something people are just now starting to do, right? And so to me, it's all about 3 areas, right? I don't know where we're going, but it's about 4 areas I'm going to add. It's about culture, right? What is the culture of how we do business in the government? That's accountability. Accountability is on subcontracting, on payments, that kind of thing. It's also, our acquisition strategy, right? What is our accountability on? We can't say we want to increase and open the door wider if we don't have a culture and accountability that goes along with that. It's also strategy. What's our acquisition strategy? Acquisition strategy and policy oftentimes limit access and opportunity. So that's all culture. The second C is capacity. We've got to figure out, how do we help businesses increase their capacity? And part of that has to be, we have to look at, how do we evaluate companies as far as their capacity, how their past performance, right? That's just part of it. And then how do we enable them to build and grow? And then not the second to the last one, is capability. What's the value of the company? What value do they bring? And do we have to structure that particular acquisition in that way? And can we do it in another way that would allow a company's capacity to be achieved? And then, of course, it's all about the money, baby. Bring me the Benjamins, right? We got to have money in order to be successful. So, I don't know where it's going, but in my mind, it's around those 4 things. Culture, it's about capacity, capability, and capital.
Well, that foundation is optimal in any organization. And what you have, let's speak about foundation of Michelle, the leadership foundation that we have. So let's dive into those as well. So let's start off with, what professional development areas do you work on to improve your capabilities as a leader?
Wow. Well, I've been in the self-help arena way too long, and got way too many books and way too many certifications that I'm not leveraging. So I will tell you that the area of personal development for me is about execution. Execution, execution, execution. It isn't a matter of, do I know? I know enough to know what I don't know, but now it's about executing on what I do know. So I'm now developing personal systems and structures to help me execute better, because it's not out of a failure of being able to. It's about the capacity. I have the capability, but I don't have the capacity to execute and go as fast as I need to. So that I would say that. Also, I think, as a leader, I wrote something. I heard somebody say something. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It says, "I don't think I'm better than anyone, but I don't think I'm less than anyone. But I believe that I am equal to or greater than any challenge that life may bring me." And that is how, so people see this confidence and they go, well, oh, she thinks she's all that. Yeah, I do. And oh, by the way, if you want me on your team, you should think I'm all that too. Because here's what I found out, and this is a leadership thing. If you think that I have a starring role in your movie, I'm going to show out and show up and we all going to win. How about that? But if you think I should be a minor, I should be a sub, I can just bring you in anytime, I'm not giving you my best work. I'm just saying. So, that's, for me, leadership is about, and I talk to women about this all the time, I'm very good at what I'm good at. But I know I'm not good at what you're good at. And I'm not trying to be over there in your... So why hate on me because I'm strong in my area? Instead, you should be like, oh, I got to I got to join with her because she bad in that. And I just like you two. That's why I asked, how did you all meet? Because it's about leveraging the greatest strengths of each other, right? And it's a surefire win when everybody is working in their area of strength. And what I tell people, it's all about three areas: risk, responsibility, and reward. Companies and people, you know what they want? All the reward, but you haven't had the risk or the responsibility. And I love sports. So guess what? The coach doesn't get the reward of the owner. The grass keeper doesn't get the reward of the coach or the owner. The quarterback doesn't get the reward of the coach. It is the reality. It is about risk, responsibility, and reward. So if you can take the risk and responsibility, be happy with 10% of something is better than 0% of nothing. So, I have all these leadership kind of mantras that I live, and I mean, when I say they're almost like laws, I live by them. And so I just believe that if you hire me or anybody in their strength area, you get the work of 5 people. Because a person who's working in their strength area is addition and multiplication. If they're out of their strength area, there's subtraction, and they definitely are division. So it's about my leadership, I should say, philosophy is pretty much set. It's about how will I bring that to the world, and that's the next chapter on GI. Who knows when that's going to start?
I love I love the energy behind the positivity and the confidence. The confidence and most people sometimes they confuse confidence for ego or anything like that. But when you're good at something, you're just good at it, and that's it. You don't have to apologize for it. Just do it. Uh, so I love it. Now, you mentioned earlier when we started off that you were the first to reach the rank of colonel in your specialty. And I love that. I happen to be blessed in that area in my active service to be first in many things. So I knew it took a lot of hard work and a lot of uh, going the right way. You learned some things from some leader that you say, yeah, I'm going to hold on to that. So, what advice can you give an emerging leader now that's listening to you and saying, man, that's great? I want to do something like that to help them get along in their career.
Wow, so much. A couple of things. One would be to shut up. Don't talk so much. Listen more. Right. And, one of my mentors, who I call the 13th disciple, told me one time, he said, Michelle, I just gotten selected for colonel, and he said, you speak very loudly, non-verbally and in person. He said, when they see those eagles on your shoulder, pick one. You cannot speak non-verbally loudly and speak. He said, because they will be hemorrhaging. A colonel said this, and then all the energy and the intensity. So, I now will just give a look, and a look leaves it to interpretation, right? And allows that person to self-correct based on whatever they thought that meant. In the same token, on the positive, I can smile or do this and go, And that means just the same, right? So that's what I mean by shut up, right? Because a lot of I have lost opportunities, probably as many as I have gained by talking too much. The other thing I would say is I would have thought of myself as an entrepreneur sooner. Oh my God. If I had started even 10 years out, 5 years out, 3 years out, thinking about how can I take the things that I'm fussing about in the Air Force that they're not getting it, I got the solution. I tell everybody, guess what? The government's dysfunction is your opportunity. And so if I had that mindset of just fussing, they're not listening to me, they won't believe me, if I started to craft that and write that out into a business plan, I wouldn't even be here. I'd be a bazillionaire somewhere. So that I would say start thinking about growing your leadership earlier, listening more, and think of yourself as an entrepreneur.
Those are definitely great pearls of wisdom, Michelle. Thank you for that. Now let's dive in. You talked about businesses wants that reward, right? But the other two R's, the risk and the responsibility. And I'll throw in another one, the reality, right?
Okay,
So
love that. Gonna add that to the list.
so those are the challenges that we all face in this world. So how do you handle challenges you're currently facing or have faced in the past?
Oh my God, you're really trying to get me, aren't you? Well, this is hard because I thought that I'd faced just about every challenge I could, but I will say my greatest challenge has been while working at the VA in the federal government. I've been told many times, you're not like most federal employees, and that comes at a cost, right? Because um, the federal government in general is risk averse. Let's just keep everything the same. Let's just keep things, in a box. Let's just do the checklist. And I'm an innovator. Every place I've been, I've made history. My dad said, leave deep footprints. They should know that you were there. So, I would say I don't, I'm divorced. Let me put it this way, I'm divorced. Not from my husband. I'm divorced from my position and my title. And that, I would say, was one of the greatest transitions I made because, I'm a colonel. Hey, now I'm just a servant leader serving women veterans. It doesn't matter what title I have. It doesn't matter the resources I have. It doesn't matter the accolades. I don't really care. Because all of what that divorce did was it freed me from being defined and confined. If that makes sense. Defined as in this is all you're supposed to do, stay in this box. This is all we want from you, stay in this box. You know, and the definition of what I am, who I am, what I can bring to the table is only limited by myself. So, I'd say the challenge has been more of a mindset change and shift than anything else. So the battle had a lot to do as much as the battle was without, the battle also was within.
And that's amazing. John Maxwell, developing the leader within. Is reason why he wrote that,
Yes.
because those battles truly are the greatest inside, and
Yeah.
they force us to change. Right, those battles force us, depending on what we choose. That's where the change comes. Right, so how do you deal with change, and how would you advise someone to have a strategy around change?
Wow. Well, you're asking a woman who went to 17 different schools because her mom believed in follow her man, right? My grandmother went to the third grade and was worked in the dry cleaners, and she said, "You know those army guys? They got a woman everywhere they go. So if your husband go, you better go." And my mom took that advice. So if my dad went on 6 month TDY, we picked up and moved. So change is part of my DNA. Like people say, "Oh, we have to stay back because of the kids." No, my mom didn't do that. So change is part of my DNA. When things aren't changing, I'm finding a way to change. So that's a really hard question for me because I love change. I embrace change. And the reason I embrace change is because I learn something new every time. So once you have a strategy for change, right? And I think some people handle it with resistance. Some people handle it with, I'll just wait and see, whichever way the wind is blowing, then I'll go that way. Me, I'm head on. I want to control my version of the change. So I'm going to lean forward. I'm big on benchmarking. Regardless of industry, I was just talking to a woman veteran yesterday. She was talking about logistics challenges of getting her products someplace. And she was saying, hey, now that they're, with COVID, things are different. And I said, who has the best logistics process in the world? Benchmark. You may be trying to move products here or there. I said, look at Amazon's model. It doesn't matter. They found who's going on their route. That's why you see UPS. That's why you see FedEx. That's why you see the post office all delivering Amazon products. So change is about benchmarking, researching the process and the system, not necessarily the industry. And then what I do is I take that benchmark, and I'm a data gal. I love data, but I love data in context. Then you look at data, right? And then you say, how does this apply? And then you create your own version. It's like an Excel spreadsheet. You resort what you already know, insert it with the new information, and then, hey, that's your version of change. And that's what I do every single time. Every time there's a new challenge, every time I want to do something new, I implement the same model every single time.
Just like Novocaine, give it time, it will work. So definitely, you talk a lot about the collaboration. You talked about the 4 C's, the 3 R's, and I added a third or fourth R. But
I love it.
this is wonderful, folks that are listening in. You are here with Michelle GI. She's doing wonderful things. And folks that are listening, if they want to get a hold of you or women veterans that want to join this initiative, how do they go about doing so?
Well, a couple of ways. First of all, my biggest presence is on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. I tell people I don't have nothing against Facebook. I don't have nothing against Instagram, Twitter, but LinkedIn is where business is done. When government is researching your business, they're looking for you and your business on LinkedIn. What I like is when I can refer somebody, guess what? I can see their background. I can see who they're connected to from a business standpoint. So LinkedIn is the first place. I don't sell anything. I ain't got nothing. But the only thing I'm selling is women veterans. Hire more. Put them on boards. Put them in the C-suites. Because you will not go wrong. If you're interested in collaborating, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Also, you can go to our WVOSBI, that stands for Women Veteran Owned Small Business Initiative. If you just Google that, or you Google hashtag VetBizLady, you will find us. There's a host of resources, and I'm glad to connect. I'm a small hinge opening big doors. So for me, it's all about, I don't mind being in the retail, but I'm in the wholesale. I'm trying to open doors for hundreds and thousands to come in. So if your company, your business, you're an education or nonprofit entity, and you want to create an amazing program and space for women veterans to be represented and utilized and make money, count me in. Send me a direct message, and let's get after it. Let's make women veterans win.
I love it. Uh, leaving deep footprints and opening big doors. So, I love it. So,
Yes,
hey, folks,
yes.
we're going to have that information as part of the video and show notes so you can be able to get a hold of GI. And if you want to get a hold of us, the leadership void at gmail.com is where you will send any correspondence. If you want to see a speaker, if you want us to cover a particular topic dealing with leadership, that's where you'll make the request. But GI, thank you so much for
No, thank
all
you.
the energy you brought. And it's so good to see, uh, a retired colonel continue in that level of passion that they had. Now, I'm sure your dad had a lot to do with making sure that, hey, you kept knocking down doors and leaving footprints, right?
Yes.
Bless him and what he left, the legacy he's inspired and left in you that you are now sharing with us. But it's been a great episode. I've enjoyed this thoroughly.
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine. I don't want to get in trouble now. Can't leave my mom out. She was an
Hey,
amazing woman.
we
Army
know.
Wife of the Year
Look,
for 1973. She's a
look at
bad
that.
sister. Let me
Look,
just
and
tell you.
I'm
Don't get
not.
me in trouble now. Don't
Yeah,
get me in
no,
trouble.
and I don't want to get in trouble with that. But
Mama Gardner. Yes, thank you.
Or like
No,
they say,
I was blessed. Thank you so
or like
much. It's
John
been an
Lewis,
honor.
or like John Lewis said, get in good trouble, right?
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I would say to folks listening, she's not a small hen, she's the door. She is one of the doors out there, folks. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And what we also wanted to share, we're trying to reach our 200 subscriber on our YouTube channel, The Leadership Void. Please hit subscribe. You're entering to join to the win this book, Standing Your O Salute Edition by Scott McGregor. It's Lessons in Gratitude, a great book. We also do a couple other things. We have a radio check, which is the 1st and the 15th of every month. We check in on others, our brothers and sisters of arms and our first responders. So it's just time just to conversate, just like we're doing today, 1st and 15, 1900 hours, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on LinkedIn Live. And next week, we have another dynamic guest you don't want to miss. But today, we are honored to have Michelle, Miss GI, here with us. Thank you for being on our show.
Thank you for having me.